recording. You've got to lay it out properly. And that's kind of, before you actually get used to doing it, it sounds really dull and boring, which is, oh, you know what? I've got to lay this out. I've got to write that formula out. And the truth is, it becomes a habit. And it's changing that part where in primary school it said, oh, look, you've done really well. You've worked really fast. To let's have a look at how to lay things out so I don't make mistakes and I look for clues. And it's changed that kind of mindset. So we're working on moles, and you've got to calculate the moles for each one of these questions. And moles always starts with a formula. Moles equals mass. And I love writing it out as a fraction. Moles over mass over MR. Relative formula, relative molecular mass. And write like that. Oopsie daisy. Big M like that. All right. So for me, I love fractions because fractions mean that fraction line means divide. And I think it's really important. You'll see a lot of teaching now talk about, using triangles and stuff. I don't really like them. I think you are old enough now to develop your math skills. So today, each question I want you to see moles equals mass over amount. It doesn't take long to write it out. Even on here, if you use text, it doesn't take long to write this out. Okay, so step one, and we'll write it there. Step one. That's a bit big. Let's just make it smaller. Step one. Oops, daisy. Write out the formula you need. Write out formula. And this is for moles. So we're working on moles. So you're going to write out for each question. It's going to start as moles equals mass over MR. Now, whether you do it now or before that, you highlight the key words. So I'm going to do number one. MR is 18. How many moles are there in 54 grams? Grams is the unit of mass. Always in chemistry, we always use grams. What you do then is substitute your values in, and that's step two. I'm going to go over here and go step two. Step two, substitute your values in. Okay, now that's a very kind of, mathematical term to use, and all it means is change the words or the symbols to numbers that you know. So we've got this equation, moles equals mass over MR. I am going to change mass and MR to values. So let's start with moles equals mass. Now, in question one, the mass is 54 grams because it says grams after it, 54. Divided by the MR. And it tells us the MR there, 18. 18. And that's it. And it was really funny because a lot of students were saying, doing physics and things like last week, and especially year 6, 7 were saying, oh my God, it's so hard. Yeah, the first time you look at it, it can seem really hard. But the more you practice, and I was saying to my children at your age as well, and they said, Daddy, it's really strange. I says, what is? The first time you do a question, it's like, whoa, that's just weird. And the second time, it's like, that's all right. And so the third time, it's really easy. And that's what I mean by science as a language. Like all languages, the first time you hear something, you're like, what? And the second time you think, oh. And by the third time you think, right, I get that. Now, step 3, use a calculator. Use a calculator. Don't care what you're on. You've got a calculator in Google if you want. You've got a calculator on your iPad. You've got a calculator everywhere. Use your calculator. And in this context, what you put in your calculator is 54. You know what? And I don't know how to do the divide sign. Divided by 18. That's it. And I think the answer is 3 because I'm being very naughty. I'm not listening to my own rules. I'm doing it in my head. So the answer is moles equals 3. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. I love science. Do not write I love science. I assume you all do. There you go. That's it. All right. And you've got 10 questions.